On today's show, we're going to show how the play action pass affects the defense, and while Kyle Shanahan takes it to another level and ties it all together. Remember, as always, you can listen to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can always be updated when new content drops. You're inside the Johnny Dell Football Academy. Hello, Niner faithful, and welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. We do that by dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's and O's zig and zag. I am Adam Marino, as always, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell. And Johnny, I am excited to bring you tidings of great news. We explained the last time we were together that I have some news coming up for the faithful, and it is time to drop that knowledge on everyone. We have merch. Say it with me. Yes. So, you guys, please, as you can see on the screen here, Johnny Dell's Football Academy shop. So, here's what we're doing. We are dropping these shirts. If you notice, these opponents are going to be Denver, LA, and Las Vegas. Now, think ahead here. That's our preseason opponents. So we're dropping these t-shirts first. Now, the bonus with LA is because we play LA twice a year, this is for the Chargers. But as you know, since we play the Rams, I would definitely pick up that LA sucks first. First of all, they suck the most. And second of all, it's a twofer because now you have this shirt every time we play the Rams. So please pick up these shirts, support the channel, support our good work that we're trying to bring for you. Johnny, what do you think of these shirts?
Man, I love them. It is in 49ers colors, which are the best colors out there. And what is better than having LA sucks in 49ers red and gold? I mean, come on. You know you have that one friend who this would just drive nuts when football season comes around. And now you get to sport the 49ers colors and talk trash on our opponent for that week. Adam's been working really hard on getting us some merch, and we were able to come through on this. And we have some more things that we're working on behind the scenes. A little too early to announce it, but hopefully we got even more stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I'm so excited now. If you guys notice, the um, the way to grab these shirts, click the link and it will say First Wilkerson. And my buddy John Ambrioli, his wife streets that she grew up on was First and Wilkerson. And they have this company that they design shirts for locally in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where I am at. And so I've partnered with them and they are getting us this great deal to design all of these shirts that we want. We will have more merch on the way, trust me. But if you go to First and Wilkerson, you'll see all of the other stuff that they offer. But this is our own little shop. So inside this shop, the Johnny Dell's Football Academy shop, we will have all sorts of things in there to come. Right now, we're dropping as it's, preseason is what's going on, is the next thing to come in the season. So we have our 3 preseason opponents ready to go so that you can rock these shirts when you either go to the game or watching with friends. So please share this link with your friends and let people know, hey, we have a special t-shirt. You're not going to find anyone with t-shirts like this. That is what's so cool about the Johnny Dell Football Academy shop, is we're going to make sure that we have gear that no one else is going to have. And so it's just always a little bit cooler when you can have something that no one else has. I think it's super cool. So I'm very excited. More stuff to coming. I know we got a lot to get into. Johnny, take it away, man.
Yeah. So, and if for that shop, the link is in the description of the channel if you're watching on YouTube. So, if you're on the YouTube side, then you can check that link out. But we are going to continue on this off-season sort of series we've been on going through some of the Kyle Shanahan offense, and I've had some people bugging me to get to the defensive side and get to some Steve Wilkes stuff. So hopefully we're going to be wrapping this up within the next week or two and give us enough time to then hit some Steve Wilkes stuff. I will be out of the state from Alabama. I'm going to be back going towards the West Coast here in a couple weeks. We're going to visit my sister in Oregon and all of her kids. She's got like 800 kids. They're almost an Amish commune out there. But we're going to be headed out that way, so we won't have any shows the week of the 19th, and then I'm taking a bunch of teenagers to a summer camp in first week of July. So those times are kind of uh, uh, condensed for us. So hopefully we're going to have enough time to get through all the Steve Wilkes stuff too. But I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, of being able to go through the building blocks of the offense and really just be able to talk about how one thing ties to the other. And so the last couple episodes, if you've watched, we were talking about the run game. Started out with the wide zone, then went to the split zone and the counter run, kind of as a way to play off of those. And now we're going to talk about how those two runs specifically will tie into the pass game and the play action pass game, because that is so much of the 49ers offense and so much of where the explosives come from. A lot of the explosives in our offense come out of the play action pass game and then the run game off of the play action pass game. They feed each other. And really, there's been a lot of talk, especially the last few weeks, about the 49ers passing game and how it's not as much a deep attack, and we need that more. And that's why some people don't believe in Brock Purdy as much, because they want to see that deep downfield passing attack from the drop back passing game. And really, our drop back passing game, which I'm going to hopefully get to in the next episode, and I might be bringing on a special guest to help us go through that one. Somebody who brings a lot of credentials with them. I'm going to reach out to him and see if he'll hop on. But the drop back passing game is really just about keeping the chains moving and keeping the defense off balance, and not just being able to tee off and try and play really aggressively against your play action pass game and your run game, because sometimes teams can just really blitz really hard against some of those protections when the quarterback's turning his back to the defense, and it can create problems. So we have that drop back passing game, but it's not the kind of downfield passing attack as you would see as much from our play action passing game. And our play action passing game is really there to complement the run game. So that's what we're going to talk about first here. So if I can get some of these screens here ready, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to jump to the actual 49ers playbook here. So this is from the 49ers playbook. It's the 2018 playbook. Yes, I do have the 2018 playbook. We're going to talk about some of the plays in here. This is going to be the first play we're going to look at. But this is one that I usually, so this is called burner or rider. Burner is a form of the play riders. This is what Kyle Shanahan calls them. Now, when you see my videos during the year, I normally call this a speedo concept. Okay. The names, as far as what Kyle calls them and what I've usually called them, doesn't matter as much. It's just names that coaches will apply for different reasons. Like Alex Gibbs, who's run the wide zone running game for 35 years, he's talked about that. He's called the same run multiple things at different places he's been, and it was usually just kind of whatever he felt like. That there wasn't a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. Different coaches have rhyme or reason, but you normally hear me call this a speedo because it involves this route that's the first in the progression here, which is, I always learned it as the speed over route. So it's a speed over route. It goes over the top and across the field. Kyle Shanahan usually calls this a high crosser. Some people call it a deep over. But when you look at, like, when we go back to how Bill Walsh and Mike Holmgren named a lot of their passing concepts, it was after a specific route that the whole concept was built around. So you had like the stick concept, which is based upon the stick route of from the tight end. Um, and so you have a combination of routes off of the stick route. So it's just called the stick concept. You had the slant flat concept, which was a slant route mixed with a flat route, and it was just called the slant flat. The speedo was based around this speed over with a clearing route. Now this specific play, you'll notice our deep route over here. What this involves, burner is different from rider, and that rider is usually just a seam route. So down here is where he has rider, and rider is going to be a seam route. Burner is going to be a corner route. Does that make sense? And the interesting thing about burner is that this deep corner route isn't even in the progression. You don't even see a one. You only see one over the deep over, and number two to the flat route. So, this is the reason I want to say this is because people will oftentimes, if they've seen this play run and this guy looks open, or he looks like he may have an opening, and our quarterbacks don't even look that direction, they will get hammered by Twitter. They will get hammered by social media because they just didn't see it, and that's why they'll never be ex quarterback or successful. You have to understand what they're coached to do and what they're taught to do in this system. And the number one in the progression is actually going to be the high crosser or deep over route. So we're going to look at a play where this looks like to be this case, and I heard people go after Purdy on this. We have to understand what the playbook. This is Kyle Shanahan's playbook, okay? This is from the 49ers. I can look at the play action passing. This is from the 2018 install. So this is the 2018 49ers playbook. And so what we're going to see is how these things tied in. I'm coming down to this area to talk about some protections. So just to give you an example of what these players have to learn, these are all the different possible protections from the play action passing game that the offensive line has to know. Okay. That's a lot of different protections that you can have. The first play we're going to look at is what's called a stutter solid pass protection. What does that mean? That means this is going to look like a counter run. That's really what this means. So, there's a lot of different words up in here. Stutter down scheme with off offensive guard pulling for Emal versus Navajo down. Okay, that sounds like a mouthful. What this is talking about is that you're going to pull. The running back's going to take a jab step, and then make it look like he's running a counter run action. Your fullback, or this can be a tight end who's going to be on the play side. He's going to come across the line of scrimmage like he's lead blocking, and you're going to pull a guard over, and he's going to block the end man. Everybody else is going to block down. This is what helps sell your play action passing game. Okay. So, because these two linebackers, the linebackers that are here, I would be drawing, or I apparently can draw on this. Let's see if okay. So these two linebackers here and here, okay, what they're taught to do is read the guard through center to the backfield. So when they see this guard pull and come over, that's going to tell them run, because that doesn't look like a pass, drop back pass. So that's going to help make these guys want to fill. Okay. And because it's looking like a counter run, your backside safety is going to want to sit here and hold tight. This is all going to make sense when we actually jump to the film. I have to end this sharing screen. So does that kind of give people an idea of at least, what the team's looking to do as far as tying things together, and what the play action pass game involves? That it's about making it look just like your runs. So that's really what makes Kyle Shanahan's play action pass game so effective. So let's jump to some film here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show this run so that we can get a reminder of what the run action looks like. Okay, so here, this is going to be a split zone. So we can see the action. All right, now this was a good one. This was against the Seahawks in the playoffs. Big gain by Christian McCaffrey here. So what we're going to see is we're going to see all these guys blocking down, blocking down, blocking down, blocking down. This is one where they make it look like that wide zone, and then you have Juszczyk come across, kick out the end man, and Christian McCaffrey is going to come up inside. Okay. And so that is what this run action looks like. And notice once these linebackers see use check come across the formation, they're going to stop pursuing and they're gonna come in and look to fill for a run coming back against the grain. So okay, you see him now. Okay, they see use check coming in, so now they're looking to fill. Okay, and notice the backside safety. He's sitting here. He's not dropping. He's looking to protect against this run that's going to come either can come back this way or this way. Okay, that's why those linebackers are and safety is holding, and look at Ayuk doing a good job there. Spencer Burford getting up in there. Okay, so we have a big gain here in the run game. So that's just a reminder, Adam. I think there's a phone ringing in the background with you.
Yeah.
So now we're going to jump to this is now the very first offensive play of the game. So I'm just was showing the previous play to again remind people of what the run action looks like, because this run game is all about how you affect these guys right here. Okay. That's what this play action pass game is all about, is that the run game is going to affect them so that it opens up your play action pass game. Okay. Now this is going to be burner. You're going to see this is Brandon Ayuk. He's going to come up here and he's going to run this deep corner route. Okay. So this is just the play that we just looked at. And you're going to have Deebo Samuel here on this high crosser, deep over, speed over. And then you're going to have Christian McCaffrey after the run fake. He's going to head to the flat. All right. So we're going to see there's first going to be a shift from, I believe it's George Kittle. He's up at the top and he's going to shift down. Beautiful shift, George. Really top stuff from George Kittle right there.
It's nice to see George Kittle fully clothed.
Yeah. And so here, okay, I'm going to pause it here. So for just to show, okay, we've got Spencer Burford here pulling. Okay, this is that stutter solid pass protection where the guard pulls, and now you have his use check is coming across, and he's going to then also make this look like your split zone. So notice how these linebackers, once they see that action of the guard and this action coming across, they're attacking down in this area. Okay. So they're biting on this hard. That's what you're selling. That's why it looks just like your split zone and your counter run. Okay. They look just like that. So now you've got them come all the way up. Look at them. They're all right up in here thinking run. Okay. Now this is why. Now the reason you run Ayuk down the seam, and let me back this up so I can talk about this for a sec, because there's another element here of formationally what's happening here. So if you notice, we're really tight splits here with our receivers.
Right.
Okay. Now, most people some people will criticize Kyle Shanahan because, again, you now have 10 guys in the box. Okay. That's a very condensed formation. And people say, well, teams are daring us to pass. And you go, well, not necessarily. Some of this we're doing formationally, because why? Why do we bring this in so tight? Because we want Brandon Ayuk to come up here and threaten both the safety and the corner. Okay. So the safety has to drop back. Let me put in a better color for that logo. Has to drop back in order to respect a possible deep post. And the corner also has to drop back to respect a possible corner route. This is why that route is not even in the progression, because it is designed to grab both your safety and your corner. Okay, so it's going to clear out that whole side of the field.
It's so that he can't cheat.
Right. So you threaten both right down the middle so that they both have to respect that.
Yep.
So neither one, because if this route is outside the numbers, well, guess what? This safety doesn't have anybody threatening him. He's going to sit here on this deep over route. Okay. So you run it down the seam in between the hash and the numbers on purpose so that you grab both the safety. If you notice, the safety is turned towards the vertical route by Ayuk. The corner has to respect the vertical route by Ayuk, and it's going to pull both of them. Now, you could say right here, Ayuk's beat him, right? He's past the corner. All Purdy's got to do is launch this ball,
Lay it out
way
there.
out here,
Yeah.
and lay it out
Yeah.
there. And people said that on this play, okay? But remember what our play, what the play design is, that that route isn't even in the progression, because again, the play action works so well to suck these guys up. They had to respect what looked like a pulling guard and everything. Now you have nobody underneath on to account for Deebo Samuel running wide open. These guys are bailing. There's nobody there. Okay. This is the Kyle Shanahan play action passing game. It's not about that you might be able to hit this throw. It's that you have this guy stinking wide open. So
And it's an easier throw.
It's an easier throw. It's a higher percentage throw.
Absolutely.
You're going to get the ball into Deebo Samuel's hands, who is Deebo Samuel, and we've seen what he can do once the ball is in his hands with a lot of room. Now, this was the very first play of the game. It had been raining, and Purdy airmails this one, okay? But look at how wide, stinking open Deebo Samuel is, okay? That's because this is Seattle. They're expecting us to open the game with the run, and we end up hitting them with the play action, and Purdy just lets this one get loose, and it airmails over.
It's crazy how you mentioned that is the first play of the game, and already Seattle, as an opponent that knows us very well, they have to respect the run because of how good we're at it, and it's just so crazy to think that this is not play 13. This is play 1.
Right. Kyle Shanahan opened this up knowing that they were going to look to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's just watch the front action, okay? So from right here, you've got Burford pulling, you've got Juszczyk moving. These linebackers have nothing to tell them that this is not a run, because you have down blocks. Okay, you're sitting here. This looks like your counter run. And that's what they're thinking. Okay, he's doing the counter run to open up the wide zone. And so they're all going to attack hard into their gaps. And this is why the play action pass game, because of the threat of the run game tied so closely, works so well. Okay,
just
and
look at Deebo right now.
Right.
Look at that.
Here's Deebo. There's nobody. I mean, this is the guy that's supposed to cover him.
Yeah, get out of here.
Okay, like that's the guy that's supposed to cover him. He's not.
Look at, he's freaking out right now. Look.
Right. They're like, what's happening? Yeah. Okay. And again, Purdy let the ball get loose from him. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
But, it worked out in this game. He scored 38 points. And Deebo was kind of like, wow, what was that?
Yeah.
So what do? We come back to the same exact play. Okay. So this you're going to see Juszczyk or Kittle up here. He's going to shift over into this spot. And right now what we're going to do is now we're going to run burner again. So we're going to run you can't see that because Adam's head in the way. We're going to run up here. We're going to run a corner route.
I got a big head.
And then we're going to run Ayuk on the deep over or high crosser. Same thing. So we'll speed it up here through the shift. But you see, now we're switching up the personnel, so they can't just clue into on this is going to be run by Deebo. This is going to be run by Ayuk. This is going to be run by McLeod.
Yep.
So again, same action. Now here we don't pull the guard. So this looks like our split zone. But you have Juszczyk coming across. So it looks just like the split zone again. All right. And again, what does it do? Linebackers sucked up. All right. They're all respecting, and specifically, they have to respect this side of the field. Okay. Because that looks like the split zone. So that's where they're looking. So you're going to get Ayuk coming back across this way. So you get their eyes going this way, their momentum going that way, and you come back across the other way. And we're going to get the rollout, and Purdy turns around and look, okay, closest guy to him, that he's not going to get to Ayuk running that deep over. All right. And you're seeing same thing. Safety. He's got to peel back. Corner. Got to peel out. All right. Same play. A little bit tighter on this one. Purdy does a nice job of leading him into open space. Ball on the money. He's going to get it. And he nearly breaks the tackle, but big chunk gain. Big chunk gain. That's what it's about. It's not about the home run hit every time. You get that big chunk gain. That's an explosive. That's exactly what you're looking for. So, this is what it is. These things all come together for reasons. Our guy Technicic says that is why Shanahan is the coach and not randos on their couch. This is a major reason. Okay. And you were 100% right. When those overs were open all day against the Seahawks, there was like 5 times we hit these deep overs against the Seahawks because the way that the defensive structure of the Seahawks works is it's very similar to ours. These backside linebackers are responsible for matching any deep overs. Okay. So if there's a deep over coming across, this linebacker is supposed to be the one that matches that. And that's why you keep running these play action passes that look like split zone or counter, because you want this linebacker thinking this direction. Okay. That's why you run this specific play action pass versus Seattle, because of the way Seattle's defense runs. That's why you do these things. It's not just, it's like he said, it's not just random. This is all tied together. It is game plan specific for this opponent and how their offensive system works. And we're going to take a look at this again from the end zone, so you can again see what the linebackers have to deal with in this action, what this action looks like. Okay, so look at this. You got guys firing down. You got Juszczyk coming back across the formation. If you're a linebacker, why aren't you going to respect split zone here?
Right.
Because that this is what the 49ers do. So this is why it looks like that. And so this play action passing game is all about attacking this guy, attacking this guy, attacking this guy. Okay. Everything is about attacking those guys. Everybody wants to see the deep downfield passing attack of going after the corners and the safeties. There are plays that put safeties in conflict, but it's really the crux of it, and why it ties together so well is because it attacks these guys. It puts them in conflict. Are you going to play run, or are you going to play pass? If you play pass in these situations, guess what we're going to do? We're going to sit here and run this over and over again. We're going to run split zone. We're going to run wide zone. We're going to run counter. We're going to do it over and over and over again until you have to commit to it. And then we're going to run play action passes. And now you have this where the defenses are put in such a tough position. Because, I mean, you can see this guy. Look at him. He's turning around. He's saying, what's going on? What's going on? Arms are out. I'm trying to find somebody.
Flailing.
He's freaking out. Right. He doesn't know what's
he turns
about to
around.
hit him.
It's way too late.
Okay.
Way too
This
late.
is what it's all about, man. I love Kyle Shanahan's play action pass game, because it's not just about chuck it deep. It's about tying together what you're doing in a cohesive way. I gotta check my notes here. Okay, so this next one's going to be Ryder. So what we're going to see is we're going to see a seam route. We're not going to see a deep over. And you can see how it's, sorry, not deep over, a corner. So you can see what this looks like. So what we're going to do is this is going to look very similar, but now we're going to get McLeod and we're just going to run him down the seam. Okay. And again, this is because on that last play, you saw the safety kind of cheating and looking back, like he wasn't fully paying attention to the seam threat. He was expecting a deep corner. So now you're going to run the seam. And on this one now, you do truly have, this is going to be number 1 in your progression. And you're going to have Ayuk come across, and he's your number 2. Okay. Then you're going to have McCaffrey out in the flat, and he's going to be your number 3. All right. So this is how it's going to be, but the action will look the same. Believe. Yeah. So this one, same thing. Let me slow it down. Sorry for everybody. Same thing. You're going to see split zone action. Boom. Down, down, down. Come across. Kick out. Split zone action. McCaffrey's going to come up, make it look like he's run split zone, and he's going to come out into the flat. Okay. Again, these linebackers, they're focused. They're focused. Now this was probably one of the only throws that Purdy had in this game where I thought, why didn't he pull the trigger? Because he's got Ayuk out here. I don't know if he saw this curl flat guy sitting a little too soft.
Yeah.
And he was worried about him, coming back and undercutting this route because, this is Muse, I believe, ain't going to have a chance to go get that. And that's who's supposed to cover this. So I think he gets a little worried that maybe that curl flat guy can undercut the route and he's going to check it down to Debo over here. Sorry, I said McCaffrey earlier. I meant Debo. But
he's in his field of vision for sure.
He would have had that. He was in his field of vision, but you can still see. I mean, this guy's got to play so soft. He's playing 10 yards soft. Okay, that what are teams going to do here? And you still Debo's Debo, and he gets 8-9 yards, right? If the bad play is 8-9 yards, you're doing good.
You're winning the Super Bowl is what you're doing. That's
right. So again, we'll look at the front action. Same thing. Okay. And you're seeing how it puts these guys into so much conflict. Same look on the front action. And Purdy just is going to check this down. And Debo, he doesn't even get really taken down. He's be like, dude, let go of me. Let go of me, man. Yeah. All right. So does that kind of make sense with this one? Now this is like a Shanahan staple, the speedo concept. He calls it rider. There's blazer. There's burner. Those are the three that he has. They're all kind of a little bit different. And you can do them like you've seen off the split zone action. You can do them off the counter run action where you pull the guard. You can do it. You can run with a lot of different front action again to tie into what runs you are focusing on in the game. Does that make sense for everybody? Give me a number one in the chat if you're jiving with me while I get a little drink here.
Yeah, I love this because we see some of the nuances and we see some of the things, we mentioned like Technicic said, a lot like that Seahawks play in week 15. Like even the average fan does see that and says, oh man, those fakes really manipulated the defense. And we see plays like this. And again, like you mentioned, we think, oh, why didn't he throw it to that guy? And hearing how the breakdowns of the play and the hows and the whys of why the quarterback, whoever it is, if it's Jimmy, if it's Brock, if it's Lance, if it's Sam, whoever it is, they are taught to look at a certain thing. And again, guys, you're on your couch and these guys are being blitzed and rushed by some of the fastest players on earth with pads on. So to see how it's drawn up and to understand why things are drawn up the way that they are, for me, it really gives me a deeper appreciation on Kyle Shanahan, because I always thought that he was looked at as an offensive genius, but I just took everyone's word for it. And now when you see it here, it is, I mean, it's crazy to see this. This is great stuff. We love it.
So good question here. Jeff says do we only run play action on split zone? No. So that's how we do a lot of the deeper downfield passing attacks. And again, it's because you're trying to keep those linebackers and those curl flat guys who would normally be picking up those deep overs to hold. And they've got to hold where they are. You don't want them moving too far either direction. You want them moving north and south. You want them moving up and down so that they can't turn and pick up and match that play that's going across the field. So here's how we tie into our wide zone. So that's a perfect segue, Jeff. Thank you for giving me the perfect segue into another play action passing concept that we have. And this one plays off of our wide zone. So, I talked in the first episode about the wide zone and how it's going to, come here and our guys going to aim for, let me get this a little bit thicker so everybody can see it a little bit better. How it's going to come here and attack the outside, the butthole of the tight end is your attacking point for this run. And everybody's going to, you're going to have these horizontal blocks. You're looking for either scoop blocks or you're moving everything down. And so what we saw when the Seahawks ended up stopping that run was that the defensive guys here, they had to pursue so hard to that wide zone side, because you got to set a really hard edge and everybody's got to pursue really hard towards the wide zone angle to cut it all off. So what you're going to do is then to counter that is you run this, which is, now I always called this the slide concept, and Kyle Shanahan obviously calls it keeper. Okay, same thing. Years ago under Mike Shanahan, it was called the slide. Kyle calls it keeper, just different nomenclature, but it generally is going to always look like this, and so this is what the playbook is going to look like. These are all keepers, and it's different formations, different ways to run this. It's all the same play. If you look here, it's keeper. Okay, so this isn't just, you have like 16, 20 different plays here that are all the same basic concept. It's the same concept. And so what is it going to be? Well, it's going to involve that you're going to fake this wide zone one direction. Your quarterback's going to boot out. Okay. So he's going to roll out, and you're going to bring your a route on a crossing route. And that's your number one in the progression. Again, understand where the progressions are. Number one is on the crosser. And then it has this deep comeback route, and that's going to be number two. And then there's always a route in the flat that is if you have to outlet it. That's where your outlet is. Now the fourth option is the quarterback on the keeper. So the quarterback does have the option, if I just want to keep this, I can keep it out there. Now, there are versions of this where, like this play here, where it's not just straight out into the flat. He's gonna fake like he's blocking down, and then he's gonna move out. And a lot of times, and what you see is this is the hot. What does that mean? That means that if you're under immediate pressure, this is your escape. Okay. Now, the most famous or infamous time we ran this play was against the Denver Broncos, the pick safety. Why Kyle Shanahan ran this play from your own 2-yard line, I don't know. And now Jimmy G should have thrown that ball into the stands. Okay. But let's also understand his hot was Kyle Juszczyk, and he got thrown to the ground right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so he turned around on this boot. There was a guy coming at him. He looked for his hot. His hot was laying on the ground, and he turned and he tried to throw this backside, which was horrible.
He actually threw a pick.
Yeah, right. He threw a pick
after he stepped out of bounds.
It was horrible. But this play, the idea is, you're going to have the defense is flowing this direction, and you're going to come back across. And you notice it's always this 3-level, and the mid is always number one in the progression. Okay, that crossing route's always number one. That's important to note, again, because we've also had times, because sometimes this isn't a deep comeback. Sometimes this is a streak, and you can also see that this is a side adjust route. So what it's going to say is, so what this says is sit on sideline at 15 yards versus cloud. What that mean? Well, my head's in the way on that one. Actually, no, it's still Adams.
Yeah.
It says it right here as well. What does that mean? That means that if the defense is in cover 2, you got a what's called a cloud zone. So you got a corner in the flat over here, and you have a deep half safety. You're not going to run a deep comeback here. What the receiver is going to do is he's going to release outside to try and get this corner to turn, and then he's going to sit here. And you want to occupy this corner so that he can't come back in and blast your over route. Okay. So the receiver's got to understand what defense they're going against. If this is cover 3, he's going to run a deep comeback. If it's man, he's going to run a deep comeback. If it's cover 2 zone, he's going to take an outside release and sit on the sideline at 15 yards. Okay, so that's what this looks like. Again, it's about this now is your counter to your wide zone. It's going to look just like your wide zone. So let's go back to the film. We'll talk and we'll see an example of this. Again, this is against the Seahawks. So what is this going to look like? All right. So you're going to have, I got to remember which direction we run this. Okay. Yeah. You're going to have Brandon Ayuk is going to run this up here as your deep comeback route. And Debo is on your crossing route. And you're going to have Juszczyk out here in the flat. Okay. Again, I apologize for my horrible drawing. I'm not great with drawing on a mouse. Now, this is one, again, Purdy's got to throw it hot. So you can see how this works is that the run action looks like wide zone, okay? Everybody's going down this way. You're coming down, looks like wide zone. And now you're going to come back across from it. Now, this is why you have this as hot, because your backside is going to block and then release out into the flat. And so with your quarterback, he's on a naked boot. This is also how it feeds into the run game, because if you see that this guy is coming out here and just sitting on your quarterback, guess what you're going to do? You're going to sit there and you're going to run your split zone. And that's when you're going to bring a guy across and kick him out. And you're going to run this ball right up in here. Okay. That's one reason why that play that I showed, or the very first one, was a split zone. It was after this play. That's why we ran it. So you're starting to see how these things all tie into each other. Okay. So because Brock Purdy is going to turn around. Boom, he's got a guy in his face. Oh, no. Okay, get it to your hot. Number 3. All right. So this is how it leaves you with options. Purdy's going to get it to his hot, and you get a little gain. Not a big gain, but you're seeing how the slide concept ties in. I had one on here. I thought I put it on here. I may not, because we actually scored a big touchdown. I think it's the next play. I just forgot to put it on my notes. The very next play was another slide concept, and we hit like a 70-yard touchdown to Debo. But again, let's rewind this. And again, look at the front action. Look at this run, the way the front looks. Everybody's running, blocking down. This looks like your wide zone, okay? This looks exactly like your wide zone. Everybody's coming. They're coming. So these guys, boom, boom, they're chasing, all right? And what are you going to do? You're going to bring Debo back across. So that's what the purpose of this is. And, Purdy's got to get it to his hot. We get a decent gain, get out of it.
Juice.
I do believe the next one. Yeah, use. All right, so this should be. Yeah, okay. So it is what I thought. So now this is the same play, keeper. This one, we're going to run it. It's going to look like your wide zone. We're going to fake this one to look like a toss this time, but it's still wide zone. It's just different way to hand it off. But what are you going to do? You're going to run Ayuk up here. I think he's going to run a clearing route. And you got Debo on that over route. And you're going to have Kittle down here in the flat. All right. Same thing. Just a different way to look at it. Boom. Look at the attention this wide zone action gets. Okay, everybody's chasing it. And now you got Debo working his way across this. Okay, this is the guy that's supposed to cover him. And that's the moment he went poopy.
Mm-hmm. Whoops. Whoa, look at him back.
Yep, look at him. And he's like, uh-oh, that's my guy.
He's wide.
Okay, but you're seeing how this works. Number 1 in the progression. Wide open.
What's funny is that wasn't a fake handoff that takes longer. A fake pitch doesn't take as long, which means the linebacker should, in theory, have more time to get back, and he's still.
Yeah, but remember, they can't see the ball through the lineman. They're reading the lineman.
Yeah.
And so this is where you have that explosive pass play. This is why when I look at the 49ers, I go, I don't care if they're not bombing the ball 50 yards down the field. Okay. I don't care about that, because when you can get this and and why? Because this is an offensive play caller who is tying his stuff together. It looks the same. He's calling these things in sequence. When he's calling his wide zone, he's watching this guy. How is he playing? He's got coaches watching these guys. What are they doing? They're fact finding. every time they run a play. There are coaches who are up in the booth who their one job is to watch these two
Yep.
guys. They don't watch how the play ends up. They don't watch the defensive line. They don't watch anybody on the offense. They're watching these linebackers. And so when you see Kyle Shanahan with that headset and he's talking to people between plays, what they're doing is they're calling down and they're saying, "Will, bit real hard on our wide zone. Okay? Backside safety, bit hard on the wide zone." And so what's Kyle going to do? He's going to say, "All right, I'm going to come back and we're going to run keeper." And now you get Deebo Samuel wide open, right? And then Deebo's able to do what Deebo does. And this is why, these guys are so valuable. And look at him.
I mean, that should not be a touchdown.
His butt off.
It just should not be. I mean, in the NFL today, that should not be a touchdown. Someone should bring him down, and it's not even close.
So again, remember, these linebackers aren't going to be able to see whether this is a fake toss or not. They're reading the line. Linebackers are taught to read this triangle. Okay, guard, center, guard. They're going to read these guys and see pass or run. And so when this play starts, man, look at that. They're firing out. This is why that wide zone has to fire out horizontal. Okay, they don't fire down. They fire across. Why? Because now you tie it into your pass game. And these guys, that looks like exactly like your run game. And that's why these guys are biting so hard. And you just tie it in. And oh no.
So 53 could have, if he acts a little bit more instinctual, he can make that play and make it rough for Purdy, you would think, right?
He can, and that's why we've had moments of that.
Oh, for sure.
At different times.
Philly.
And
jeez.
Well, yeah, that was where you bring the tight end, across and he blocks the end man. That was that play. I mean, and this is where it's also hard for me to say, well, Kyle Shanahan screwed up on that play. Well, it's a play we've run like 50 times on the year. I mean, can you know ahead of time that that's the one
that not gonna,
that doesn't happen?
Yeah, UCL is gonna,
right. So there was a question here of Jeff asked this. He said, Kurt Warner and JT O'Sullivan both commented on hot routes not being ideal in this scheme. And so I'll probably talk about that more in the drop back passing episode. I talked about that a little bit after the Miami game because I didn't like some of our answers for the blitz scheme that Miami really liked. In the sense that a lot of the hots were to the 2 receiver side, and I don't like hots being to the 2 receiver side because you just don't have many answers that direction. What your hots, if they're to the 3 receiver side, is one of those of it gives you more options. That direction gives you more ability to stretch the defense, gives you more options for pick plays and stuff. And that was one reason that led to Jimmy Garoppolo's injury is I didn't think he had a really good option. And we struggled throughout much of the first half of that game. Even then Purdy came in, he was getting blasted. Trying to get rid of the ball. And it was almost like we were going to be in where we were with the NFC Championship game where we didn't have a quarterback because Purdy got blasted a few times off of free blitzers. That's kind of what they're looking at is they don't really like from that. Now, understand that both of those guys played in mostly a different offensive system than Kyle Shanahan's system. Both of those guys played in more of an Air Coryell system, which is more of a spread open passing attack than what the 49ers like to do. So they do come from a different background philosophically. So that's where that is. If there's any other questions, Adam, if you can help me keep up with some of the chat. There's some things in here. I'm just trying to see if I missed anything.
No, it looks good. One thing I wanted to mention, guys, is there's new people in the chat that make sure that you have your notification bell on when we go live so that you are notified, as well as if you look at the chat right now, I just threw a link here, we now have merchandise, guys. So hit that link. And what we've done is we've opened the shop up based on our preseason opponents. So you will see the first 3 opponents that we play for the preseason. You can pick up these t-shirts. We're going to have a lot more to come. Make sure that you like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple, wherever you hit your podcast. Make sure that you hit the notification bell on YouTube, and make sure you tell your friends. If you have not hit the algorithm yet, it is hashtag JD49 in the chat, as we want to make sure we want to grow the channel. As you guys can see that are watching live now, this content is like no other content that you're getting on the 49ers. And so we want you to tell as many people as possible. I'm the luckiest guy here, as I have a front row seat. So back to Johnny.
Yeah, so I love the merchandise. LA sucks. Denver sucks. Las Vegas sucks. You know what doesn't suck, though, is the quality of merchandise you can get from manscaped.com. Now, Manscaped does sponsor this podcast, this show. And so we want to make sure we let you know you can get 20% off and free shipping if you head to manscaped.com right now and use promo code JD49, just like our hashtag JD49. You can check out JD49 promo code. You can check out all their stuff. I mean, Father's Day is coming up. If you don't know what to tell your significant other, say, hey, they're saying, what do you want for Father's Day? And you say, you know what? I want anything from manscaped.com, because their stuff is off the chain. Johnny Dill's been talking about it because I have just about all their stuff. Adam's got a big box of their stuff not too long ago.
The beard stuff.
He's got the beard stuff. His beard is looking supple and soft and well taken care of. They have the new Beard Hedger, which is a fully waterproof. Well, I'm sorry, I can't say fully waterproof. I'd say waterproof. Liability issues, but it is waterproof. I can tell you, I've had it in the shower up to a million times. That I have taken my beard trimming regimen to the shower. It's all goes down the drain. It's there. My wife doesn't get mad at me anymore. Both those beard hairs going everywhere across the vanity, and it has one length guard for 20 different adjustable lengths, and it has the legendary Manscaped battery life that stays well, and it's got a carrying case. It comes with a really nice case to keep it in, to take it wherever you go. And you can check that out at manscaped.com and promo code JD49. So we'll get back to this. So this is another play we run a lot. It's a little bit different. It's a variation off of some of the things we do. So now you've seen the deep over speedo concept in its different forms. You've seen the keeper or slide concept on if it's different forms. So what you're going to do is, we're again in this condensed formation. That's key. Okay, what we're going to do then is we're going to make these guys look like they're running these seam routes, okay? Because now these teams are expecting these seam routes or corner routes. Okay, we do those a lot, or it's the deep overs. So teams are expecting these things. So now what do? You have these guys come up and they're just going to run a curl. Boom. They're going to run up and sit down. Again, it's about attacking these guys. That's what our play action passing game is about. It's not always about attacking these guys. Okay. Most of the time, we're just clearing these guys out.
Yeah.
All right. Because why? Because these guys are not your primary run defenders. Okay. They're not going to be the ones that are always coming up here. If we do, we got to have other plays to deal with.
Right.
All right. It's these guys. These are your primary run defenders. Okay. So how do you mess with these guys? How do you take advantage of what they're doing? So you're just going to come up here and sit on a curl. Why? Because these guys, if it's going to be this guy is going to be here, and this guy to drop back in these areas. Those are the guys responsible for those zones. All right. So what do? You run a play action pass game and attack them. Now this is with Jimmy G. So again, this looks just like our split zone, and we're going to run it deep. Now Jimmy's going to look at this and he's going to see, okay, these guys are squatting. I don't really like this. So he's just going to check it down to Christian McCaffrey coming out here in the flat. But you can see how this is a very common play action pass we do. We've run this a number of times, and Jimmy's hit this curl route right in here a bunch of times. Purdy's hit it. Trey Lance hit it a couple times. But you see how this play action pass game works is that it really is about attacking this area of the field. That's where that play action pass game is meant to attack. It's not going to be attacking down here. It's meant to attack this area. Why? Because that's where your run defenders are.
Yep.
Okay. That's how you tie your run game into your passing game. So Jimmy sees it. He's not loving what he sees. Just checks it down to Christian McCaffrey. And this is what Christian McCaffrey does. He gets you a big chunk gain anyways.
First down.
But you're seeing, again, the design of these play action passes is about affecting your run defenders, okay? It's about affecting these guys. Again, let's look at the front action. You're going to see, boom. This is actually going to have the same action as the play that Trey Lance got injured on. But you're pulling, you're bringing down, okay? This is what linebackers are having to deal with. Jimmy didn't really like what he saw, but gets it to Christian McCaffrey, who goes and makes a good play. So again, it's what I'm more highlighting is what areas of the field this play action passing game attacks, because it's attacks specific areas. Okay, now we're going to go to another real staple. This is called the drift concept. So again, how it's going to tie in, this is going to look, again, a lot like the run action we've seen. What a drift is going to have, you're going to have a seam route that's going to come up, and then you're going to have what's called a drift route. Okay, so let me see if I can pull up the play art for everybody on this one. Okay, so here, that's drift stalk, dagger rail, sails. If I remember right, it's down here. I could be wrong. Here it is. All right, so here's your drift. So, I forgot to share it. Sorry, everybody.
They don't want to see us.
Yeah, I was like, oh wait, what's happening? I thought everybody was watching me go through this playbook. My bad, everybody. I am not a smart man. So here's drift.
But I know what love is.
Right. So again, this seam route, not even in the progression. We had a play early in the year where this route was wide open. Jimmy didn't hit it, and people said, "Why didn't he hit it?" And I said, "Well, it's not even in the progression." So this is really, it's a 1-2. 1-2. You're going to hit the drift route. All right. And because that's what this is called. This is called a drift route. And you can see the instructions for it. 6 steps, cut in at 10 yards, and then find a hole. This is where your quarterback. So when you hear things like quarterbacks and receivers say, or quarterbacks say, we see things the same way, and we're going to be on the same page. When somebody says find a hole on that means that they're both seeing where the hole is, and they both know where they're going to go to in that hole. That's the kind of things that they're talking about. So it's just about, you're going to clear it out real quick. You're going to fake this run, get these defenders moving down, and you're going to find a hole in front of the safety. So if we go back to the play, right? So we got the seam route clearing out. Adam's head's covering it up. Still covering it up. Got the seam route, and then we're going to have Ayuk on the drift route. Little drift concept. So here's it. What's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's the cut. See that? Did you see that? That was just like the play art. Isn't that a beautiful thing? That Ayuk at 6 steps, he's cutting in, and I was so focused on Ayuk's steps and his beautiful route running that I wasn't even paying attention to everything else. Sorry. Let's bring this back. All right. Again, look at the run action. This, you're pulling the guard, kicking it out. This is that same run action that we saw early on. You're seeing how this affects the linebackers. They're coming up. So that's going to leave a big, giant hole. You have the seam route going. The safety's got to respect it. So it's going to clear this out. And you hit it right in behind those guys before they can even know what's coming at them.
Pitch and catch.
Pitch and catch. This is what our play action pass game is about. It's about playing off of what the linebackers and box safeties do. I've been saying this on Twitter for a long time. This is that our play action passing game is not about the deep downfield attack. It's about tying into the run game to attack linebackers and box safeties. You guys are seeing why I've been saying that and why I'm so adamant about it. Because as you look at this play action passing attack, it's not just about go deep, go deep, go deep, go deep. It's about having all of this tie in together to make sense, to have a cohesive offensive attack. Again, look at the run action. This looks just like that first play action pass that we showed where you pulled the guard. He's going to kick out. You're going to bring Kittle across, okay? This looks just like your counter run. Just like your counter run. This is a team that knows us, that runs the same offensive system. These are your linebackers who are supposed to be in here covering this hole. They're up at the line of scrimmage.
Man. Beautiful thing.
And you're getting chunk plays.
Poetry in motion.
Right. This is why this offense is so hard to stop when they tie all of these things together. When the play action pass game is clicking, now it opens up your run game. Then when your run game's working, it's opening up your play action pass game. There's no need to sit here and try and bomb it 50 yards down the field because you're moving the ball. You know, when you're scoring 30 plus points a game like we were with Purdy, this is why. It's because all of these things are tying together. All right, so now we're going to go to one that is more of a deep downfield passing attack. This is one of my favorites. It's been around since Mike Holmgren. I remember Mike Holmgren. Joe Montana hit, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns in the 1989 Super Bowl against the Broncos on this same passing concept. But this is called the pin concept, or post plus in. So what does that mean? We have Danny Gray here, speedster Danny Gray. He's going to run a post route, okay? And then you're going to bring, again, notice the condensed formation. And you're going to bring Debo in on a deep in or dig route. Okay, so post plus in, pin concept. And you're going to bring this off play action. So the idea is you're going to bring these guys up. And if they have a single safety, let's do it in blue so it's a little bit easier. They have a single safety. Now he's in a vertical stretch, okay? Because now he's got to choose, is he going to cover the post route or is he going to cover the deep in route? All right. So, and you're going to see this is, again, same action as our split zone, okay? Coming across, he's going to come up and then down. And why? Because this is more of a vertical passing attack. So you want these guys to hold up because they're going to be responsible, either one of these two guys, depending on the defensive system, for picking up this route. Okay. So you're trying to affect these guys. That's why you're running the split zone look. And so what are we going to see? We're going to see the fake handoff. You see, boom, caught up in all that run action look. And look at the void.
Huge.
There's nobody there. It's huge. Okay. So when Jimmy G turns around, what's he looking at? Now he's reading this safety. Okay. Because again, he's going to be in conflict. Who's he going to cover? And what Jimmy G sees is that the safety's flat-footed. All right. He's squatting. So he's squatting. He's going to attack the dig route. So what does Jimmy G want to do? He wants to throw the post route. Right. Now, people want to know, why is Danny Gray not playing? Why was he not getting a lot of reps? It's stuff just like this. This is a terrible route by Danny Gray. People say it's because Trey Lance wasn't playing. No, Danny Gray ran some terrible routes this year. All right. And I'm going to back this up to show everybody. What you would like to see if you're going to run a post route is you want to attack this corner's outside shoulder. All right. Make him turn. And then go and attack this post route. Okay.
Sure.
What does Danny Gray do? He's going to run. That's not even he's going to round this thing off and round it off.
Ugh.
Okay. There's no sharp run or route running here. I really hate this route by Danny Gray. Look at him. He's releasing inside.
Yeah.
Look at the corner. Okay. The corner's Corner's turned inside. He's following him. And then he just runs a straight line. Never sharp. Never sharp. Okay, so the safety is driving. See, because Jimmy, that's who he's reading. He's reading the safety, so Jimmy's throwing the ball, right? And he's going to throw this. This is Danny Gray, your fastest guy on the team. You want to get him out here, and the backside corner is running the route with him. This is a heck of a ball by Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G didn't always throw a great deep ball, and I'm saying that politely. But this would have been on the money if that corner didn't run the route for Danny Gray. That was a terrible route by Danny Gray. That's why I don't think he got another snap in this game after this play.
Look where the 30-yard line is. Look where Danny is, and look how much to the right of the 30 that he is.
Yeah, and he just angles inside.
Now look
the
at
corner
him.
runs the route. And I mean he's held up by that corner, and so he can't get to the ball. But it would have been on the money.
Yeah.
You got to get that corner to turn his hips. But I digress. Is that you're seeing how the play works though? Is that you clear out this huge zone, and now you put this guy in a vertical stretch. Okay. Same idea. You're getting these guys sucked up. It's all about affecting those guys so that you can put that deep safety in conflict. Terrible route by Danny Gray. We actually ran this play later we ran the same play against the Falcons the next week, it was the next week. I'm trying to remember when we played the Falcons as in this game, and we had Ayuk run that route, and he ran a much better route. He did exactly what I was saying, is he actually threatened the outside corner of the shoulder, or outside shoulder of the corner, and got open on the post. Couldn't quite high point the ball down. Jimmy underthrew it a little bit. But again, it's about the run action. And you're seeing that all of these things tie in. So now, if you think about this, you've seen the same run action from the front, but we've seen 4 different types of passes come off those, right? That you're seeing tied into those that these guys have to be responsible for guarding, and tied into 2 different types of runs that stress both ways. Now you're seeing what defenses are trying to deal with. And so this is where, again, where I hate this phrase, and maybe chat, you can let me know if you've heard this before. Well, all you got to do is stop the run, load up the middle of the field, and you can stop the 49ers. I've heard that so many times. Yeah. This is why I don't buy it at all. Okay. Because it's not that simple. That you're looking at all these different types of play action passes that are coming at you from the same looks, and you have the same runs coming from the same looks. It's not that simple. You can't just say, well, these guys, it's all you got to do is take away the middle of the field, and you're going to stop Jimmy G, you're going to stop Brock Purdy. It's not that simple. And you're seeing why. And you're seeing why this offense, year after year after year, continues to be one of the better offenses in the league, even with all the different parts that have come in and out. It's because the system itself is extremely sound, and you're seeing why so many teams want to run this same system. So now we're going to look at a variation, and again, it's why I'm showing all this in these different successions, because you're seeing how it all ties together. So now we've run the pin, and you saw how it was open. Danny Gray didn't run a great route. Now we're going to run a variation. What's that variation going to be? We're going to have the same run action look, and you're going to have Ayuk now run the post, and you're going to have Debo run, looks like a dig or deep in. But now what do you do? Okay, if these guys start jumping, and they start jumping, what are you going to do? So what you're going to do is you're going to have Ayuk run this post. You're going to have Debo come in, start to run a dig, and then he's going to squat it down and run a return route. Okay? That was a terrible drawing. I'm going to try and do that again. Again, I do apologize. I am not great with the mouse. So Debo's going to look like he's going to squat down, and then he's just going to work this back. Okay? He's going to work this back and sit in this zone. Why? Because if these guys start over pursuing, they start jumping on these, Now you have a variation off of this. And so again, this is not as simple as, and look at the front action, exact same front action. Okay, exact same front action.
I don't even look at that anymore. I just assume it looks like
That
clockwork. It's crazy.
that's why these guys bite every time.
Yeah, it's like clockwork.
Okay, so now you're gonna see Debo's running. We got Ayuk on the post. Okay, Debo's running like he's running this over. And what's he gonna do? This guy's looking. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna come back in here. Okay, so Debo's gonna squat and he's gonna work back this way. And look, ain't nobody out here. See, look, he's working back this way. Nobody. Why? Because this guy is going to take care of it, and these guys are thinking, okay, we're gonna keep on, covering what we can cover. And it's there, and Debo drops the ball. Oh, Debo. But now you see what, and this is where, okay, so the question before about where some of the things I've seen like Kurt Warner talk about is just because some of this stuff he doesn't watch. He watches so many teams that it's hard to tie into exactly what the 49ers do all the time, because I've seen him look at this play and be like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. This kind of feels like just turn around and this guy's going to be open. Well, this is what's happening. Is this a variation off of one of your staple plays? So when you know that teams are going to expect this pin concept, okay, so what do? You have this dig route, stop, and come back the other way as a variation. Okay, so it doesn't look like what you would normally expect, but it's a variation off of something you always do. You do all the time. And it's, again, to keep defenses off balance, off kilter, so they can't jump on the stuff that you do. And so, I mean, all this stuff looks the same. You're attacking different areas, but you're seeing the primary areas of attack in all of these play action passes is going to be this area. Okay. So now think about the criticism that has come against both Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo over the years. Doesn't throw deep outside the numbers. This is why I push back on all that. This is why. Because this is the area that play action pass game lives. It's how it ties into your run game. Kyle Shanahan loves the run game. This is why these things tie together. They tie together. The drop back passing game is more about keeping the rhythm going, keeping chains going. It's more ball control than anything. Your play action pass games where you're getting your chunk plays. But where does your play action pass game live? It lives in this area. Why does Tua Tagovailoa's heat map for his passing look like this? Why does Jimmy Garoppolo's heat map for his passing look like this? Why does Brock Purdy's heat map for his passing look like this? The only quarterback really that we've had play for us in the last couple of years last few years that hasn't looked like that was Trey Lance. And the only reason that Trey Lance's didn't is Lance usually on these deep overs was, if you had like a first window throw here where you could hit that window here, or you had a second window out here, he was usually holding the ball a little bit longer and he was hitting it on the second window. That was the difference. And so his heat map, you saw a lot more out here, or he was, kind of rolling out and then throw it down in this area. That's the only reason his heat map looked different. The plays were the same. But it's between the numbers in the intermediate area of the field. That's where it goes. And so, and actually, Technician actually just brings up the heat maps right as I was saying that. And I'm not the only one who's seen this. There's a guy, he's been a former NFL coach, Honest NFL on Twitter. He was talking about this before the NFC Championship game last year. He was talking about how do you defeat the Kyle Shanahan system, and he was talking about how you deal with play action pass game between the numbers. It was literally what he was talking about, because the play action pass game for the 49ers is so dependent. It is so much attacks between the numbers, because that's where your run defenders are. And you see that there's routes that hit it, and then there's variations, and they're all attacking the same area but in different ways, and it makes it so hard on these defenders. So again, that even this has been an hour-long show. I know it's been over an hour, and thank you guys for sticking with me on a lot of this. Hope I was going detailed enough, but not too fast, and or not too glossed over enough, or too glossed over with enough detail to really get it. But the idea is that I'm trying to show how he ties the run game into that pass game, and how it looks the same, and how the things that the run game stresses, how that complements the pass game. What the play action pass game stresses complements the run game. Sorry, I have some allergies going on here in Alabama, so I'm starting to get a little nasally. But you see now how this all ties together, and that's what Kyle Shanahan is so good at, and so good about sequencing and finding out in that fact-finding mission. So if any questions in the chat while I turn over to Adam for a second, while my throat's getting a little dry.
Yeah, we've been talking for a while. This is probably our longest show, but guys, we love bringing this content to you because we strive to make this the channel that answers the whys and hows of the game. And you cannot watch this show over the last hour and tell us that we did not cover the whys and hows of the game. And we want to grow the channel more and more. And so we are, again, very excited to say that we have a Johnny Dell's Football Academy shop open online, and we are starting out with our preseason opponents. So we have the Chargers, we have the Broncos, and we have the Raiders. And so you can see here, you can purchase your shirts here. We will have more gear coming, but this supports the channel. And in the same way, you have gear that no one else will have. And when someone asks you, where did you get that shirt? You can say it's because you watch the Johnny Dell's Football Academy podcast, and that you watch the channel and see all of the film breakdowns, all of this stuff. Again, I get a front row seat. I get to wear these shirts and tell my friends here locally who are 49er fans, which, by the way, we all know whatever city you live in, even if it's not in the Bay, that they're Niner fans all over the place. And so it's cool to be able to rock these shirts and run into Niner fans, and they say, "Where did you get that shirt?" So please tell all your Niner friends and family, share this link with them so that they have an opportunity to get the shirt. And so CSL in the casino has jokes, and we appreciate that as well. We love the Niner faithful. So again, make sure that you like and subscribe, because we are trying to grow the channel and bring you all kinds of guests. We are slated to have a cool guest on Thursday. More information on that, we will keep you posted. Make sure that you hit the subscribe and notification bell so that when we do go live on Thursday, as is the plan, that you know what, when we're going and everything like that. There is the link again, making sure you guys get that. So
Massive fail on my side. So
what's that?
Just 1 second. Let me change something before I admit what I did here. Let's save that. All right, it's good. I accidentally posted the link to come into the studio for this episode.
Which is
Not
hilarious. So now we have like
not the link
19
for the merch.
co-hosts.
Well, now I know nobody clicked on the link. But yeah, I about to have a whole bunch of people would have been knocking on the door of the studio. I've been like, what's going on?
That's funny.
I now have it updated for the link for the merch. Wow. All right. I guess if we were gonna do a call-in episode, this would have been it. Which we may do in the future, a call-in episode.
Oh,
See how
Johnny.
how that works. Y'all, my daughter had a t-ball game tonight. It was the first t-ball game we had. It was like 90 some degrees of Alabama heat, which is different, y'all. Like Alabama heat's different. I used to live on the West Coast, and you know, it was a dry heat. This Alabama heat's a very
It
humid
did something to your
heat.
brain.
Yeah, I was out in it for
Whew.
quite a while, and y'all, watching 6-year-olds play t-ball it's a thing. It's different. It's not quite like the MLB. So
Now we can say
so
click.
technician, he clicked on the link
Yeah.
and it wouldn't let him in. Sorry, buddy. No,
You're out
I'm
of here.
surprised you didn't pop. I didn't surprise you didn't it didn't pop you up here to try and let you in. Normally it does. Like there's a backstage area that I can see.
Oh,
And so I'm surprised it didn't pop you up in there. But man, so I was rushing here to get in on time to make sure we could launch the stream on time.
we will forgive
Sorry
you.
about that,
We
everybody.
thank you. We thank you for your content, Johnny. We will more than forgive you. We want to thank all of you for joining us. Make sure you take care of each other. And as always, go Niners.